I should have strangled him with my umbilical cord in the womb and done humanity a solid.
I'm straight.
Ugh, it's such a bummer. There are no good gays here. I've accepted that everything that sparks joy is cancerous, and I love string cheese. I'm embracing death. Okay.
Hands are super soft.
Thanks.
My skin.
It's my skin.
See? Totally fine.
There's a label we reserve for certain people, especially young women. Too much. Too loud, too emotional, too needy, too everything. In the vibrant, secret-filled world of Ginny and Georgia, Maxine Baker is the walking, talking, tap-dancing embodiment of too much. When we first meet her, she's a firework of a character. Dazzling, impossible to ignore, and honestly, a little exhausting. It's easy to see her as the comic relief, the self-absorbed theater kid whose problems feel trivial next to murder plots and identity crises. And for a while, the show lets us believe that. We see her theatrical outbursts, her relentless pursuit of a crush, and her tendency to make everything about herself. And we might think, okay, she's a lot. But what if being too much isn't a personality flaw? What if it's a role assigned to you by the very people who claim to love you most? Today, we're unpacking why Maxine Baker is the most misunderstood character in Wellsbury. We'll explore how her friend group, MANG, and even her own family use her as an emotional lightning rod, a convenient place to dump their own guilt, secrets, and frustrations. Max's story isn't just about teen drama. It's a masterclass in the painful dynamics of the friendship scapegoat, and a look at why sometimes the person making the most noise is the one who's never truly being heard. Chapter 1: The Architect and the Jester. Before MANG was a dysfunctional mess, it was Max's creation. Let's be clear, when Ginny arrives in Wellsbury, a lonely outsider, Max isn't just welcoming, she's a social architect. She doesn't just let Ginny enter the group, she builds the group around her own gravitational pull. She's the one who approaches Ginny in the hall, she's the one who orchestrates their elaborate Halloween costumes, and she's the one who turns a simple sophomore sleepover into a major event. She is the engine of their friendship, the chaotic, vibrant force that holds them all together. Without Max's relentless energy, MANG would just be 3 disconnected girls sitting at different lunch tables. At the same time, she plays the part of the court jester. Her personality is her currency. She's witty, flamboyant, and performs her life for an audience of her friends. And they love it, as long as it serves them. Her big, expressive theater kid nature is a celebrated spectacle. It's entertaining when she's tap dancing down the school hallway or delivering a dramatic monologue about her latest crush. Her emotions are a source of amusement, a fun distraction from their own more quietly held anxieties. But here's the crucial part. A jester is only valuable when they're making the court laugh. The moment the performance turns from comedy to tragedy, the applause stops. The very traits that made her the group's vibrant heart are later weaponized against her. The moment her big feelings become inconvenient, the label shifts from fun to dramatic. Her emotional openness is an asset they enjoy, but a liability they refuse to carry. Chapter 2: A Betrayal Deeper Than a Crush. Now, let's talk about the moment everything changed. Ginny sleeping with Marcus. On the surface, it's easy to dismiss Max's meltdown as a classic case of teen drama. Many viewers saw her obsession with Marcus as shallow and her reaction to the betrayal as selfish and over the top. But that's a massive oversimplification of what actually happened. This betrayal wasn't about a boy. It was about the 2 foundational pillars of Max's entire world crumbling at the exact same time, both through months of deception. First, there's the lie from Ginny. Max's entire way of being is external. She pours her heart out with a raw, unfiltered honesty. She invited Ginny into this deeply personal space, sharing her family's secrets, her coming out story, and her insecurities. She gave Ginny a front row seat to her life. To find out that Ginny was hiding this monumental secret makes every vulnerable conversation they had feel like a lie. It's a betrayal of trust that forces Max to question her own judgment and the authenticity of the friendship she thought she had built. But the second betrayal is arguably much deeper, the betrayal from her twin brother. The bond between twins, especially ones as close as Max and Marcus, comes with an unspoken code. Marcus wasn't just any boy, he was her other half, the one person she believed would always be in her corner. For him to not only sleep with her best friend, but to silently watch her pine, cry, and obsess over him for months is a quiet kind of cruelty. From her perspective, he allowed her to make herself a fool. When the truth comes out, she is hit with a pincer movement of emotional devastation. She can't turn to her best friend for comfort because she's the source of the pain. She can't turn to her twin because he's the source of the pain. This isn't just an outburst. It's a profound expression of grief and isolation. Her entire support system has detonated, leaving her completely alone in the rubble. Chapter 3. You're being so dramatic. The making of a scapegoat. So, Max's world has imploded, and what do her friends do? They rally around her, right? They listen, they validate her pain, they hold her accountable but still show up for her. Wrong. Very, very wrong. Instead, they do what so many friend groups do when faced with an uncomfortable truth. They find a scapegoat. And Max, with her big, messy, inconvenient feelings, is the perfect candidate. Let's break down how MANG systematically turns Max into the problem. First, Ginny. Her motivation is the most transparent. She is drowning in guilt, not just about Marcus, but about her mom, her identity, and the mountain of secrets she's keeping. Max's very real pain is a mirror reflecting Ginny's own wrongdoing, and she can't stand to look at it. So she flips the script. It's deflection 101. Instead of owning her betrayal, she paints Max's reaction as crazy and unreasonable. If Max is the one overreacting, then Ginny's actions weren't that bad. She uses Max's pain to absolve herself, a classic move that prioritizes her own comfort over her friend's heartbreak. Then you have Abby and Nora, whose complicity is quieter but just as damaging. Abby is deeply insecure, struggling with her parents' divorce and a severe eating disorder. She clings to the stability of the friend group like a life raft. The moment Max's drama threatens to capsize that boat, Abby jumps ship. Siding with Ginny, the new and popular girl, is a survival tactic. She can't afford to be on the outs, so she helps push Max out instead. And Nora, the eternal follower, simply follows the path of least resistance. She avoids conflict at all costs, and the easiest way to do that is to side with the emerging majority. Her silence isn't neutral. It's an endorsement of the group's decision to isolate Max. Together, they create a narrative. The problem isn't the betrayal, the lies, or the secrets. The problem is Max's reaction to it. She's too loud, too emotional, too dramatic. They take her valid hurt and rebrand it as a character flaw, allowing them to move on with a clear conscience while leaving her to deal with the wreckage.
Chapter 4. The Glass Child and the Silent Sibling. To really understand why Max is so vulnerable to the scapegoating, we have to look beyond MANG and into her own home. The dynamic between her and her twin brother Marcus is the key that unlocks everything. Marcus is the quintessential troubled teen. He's quiet, brooding, and struggles with a deep, silent depression. His pain is treated by his parents with a hushed seriousness. It's valid, it's deep, and it commands their attention. This positions Max as what psychologists sometimes call a glass child. In a family with a high-needs sibling, the glass child is the one who is expected to be okay. They have to be the easy one, the fun one, the one who doesn't cause any trouble because their parents' emotional resources are already maxed out. People look right through them to the problem child, hence glass. Max's entire personality is a reaction to this. She overcompensates for her invisibility by being as loud and visible as humanly possible. She's screaming for the attention that Marcus gets effortlessly through his quiet turmoil. Her parents reinforce this by praising her for being the happy, uncomplicated one. So when she finally isn't okay, they don't know what to do. Her pain is dismissed as just Max being Max, because acknowledging it as legitimate would shatter the role she's been forced to play her whole life. This family dynamic primes her to accept the same role in her friendships. She's used to her feelings being treated as secondary, an inconvenience to be managed rather than a valid experience to be understood. Chapter 5. Love you, mean it, hate you, kidding. Let's talk about how MANG actually communicates because it's a masterclass in toxic friendship dynamics. Their motto might as well be love you, mean it, hate you, kidding. It's a cycle of passive aggression, subtle cruelty, and performative reconciliation that keeps everyone, especially Max, in a constant state of emotional whiplash. It starts with the micro-cruelties. Think of Abby's constant digs about Max's body, or Nora's subtle eye rolls. These aren't big, dramatic fights. They're small, calculated cuts designed to keep everyone in their place. Then when a real conflict erupts, like the Ginny and Marcus situation, it's handled through exclusion and gossip, not honest conversation. And when they finally make up, the apologies are rarely genuine. It's more about restoring the group's comfortable status quo. The goal isn't to heal the hurt, but to sweep it under the rug as quickly as possible. This is a classic pattern of intermittent reinforcement. The unpredictable switch between love bombing, hugs, compliments, and I love yous, and punishment, the silent treatment, exclusion, is incredibly effective at keeping someone hooked in an unhealthy relationship. Max keeps coming back because she's chasing the high of the good times, willing to endure the lows to get there. It's the same manipulation tactic we see in Mean Girls. Regina George tells Katie, "You're like really pretty." And when Katie says thank you, Regina fires back, "So you agree, you think you're really pretty." It's a trap disguised as a compliment, designed to keep Katie off balance and reinforce Regina's dominance. MANG operates on the same principle. They love Max when she's playing her part, but the moment she steps out of line, the affection is withdrawn and she's reminded that her place in the group is conditional. Chapter 6. Conclusion. Who gets to be too much? So where does this leave Maxine Baker? For 2 seasons, she is positioned as the epicenter of the drama, the volatile friend whose reactions are always a little too big for the room. She is, in one word, too much. But the truth is, Max isn't just a drama queen, she's a mirror. In her loud, messy, and unfiltered pain, her friends are forced to see their own reflections. Ginny sees her betrayal, Abby sees her insecurity, and Nora sees her own passive complicity. And when faced with that ugly truth, it's far easier for them to shatter the mirror than to look at themselves. They label her dramatic and crazy because it's a convenient way to invalidate her feelings and, by extension, their own role in causing them. This is where Max's story transcends a simple teen drama and becomes a commentary on the friendships many of us have experienced. In almost every friend group, there is a person who carries the emotional weight for everyone else, the one who is allowed to be the mess so that everyone else can feel stable by comparison. This person becomes the scapegoat. Their feelings are the designated dumping ground for the group's unspoken tensions and unresolved guilt. They are the lightning rod that absorbs all the bad energy, and in return, they are told they are the storm. But here's the most hopeful part of her story. Max begins to break the cycle. By season 3, we see her building healthier connections with characters like Bracia, who validate her feelings without judgment. She starts to learn that her worth isn't tied to the conditional approval of MANG. She's still loud, still expressive, still Max, but she's no longer performing for an audience that will only applaud on their terms. She's learning that it's okay to have needs that aren't convenient for other people. Ultimately, Max's journey forces us to ask an uncomfortable question about our own lives. Who do we label as too much, and why? Maybe the friend who seems too emotional isn't the problem. Maybe they're just the one only brave enough to feel out loud. And that's the complex, messy, and deeply human story of Maxine Baker. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever felt like the Max in your friend group, or have you seen this dynamic play out in real life? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a like and subscribe for more character analyses on everything from Ginny and Georgia to your other favorite shows. Let me know who you'd like me to break down next. Until next time, thanks for watching.